Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where last episode we designed this, and it should get the fuel that we need up to our solar station. However, I noticed a small problem here. Do you see it? Yeah, that's right, this is an engine plate, not a decoupler. I have no idea how that happened, but let's just go ahead and grab a TD50 or a TD3.7. I think a TD37 is what we need here. Yes, a TD37 decoupler. There we go. That will work much better. And let's just go ahead and make sure everything else here is good. Now you'll notice that I've moved these engines into this stage here. We're going to be lifting just with the SRBs at first. Although I think I am going to fire the center engine, but not any of the others. I'm also going to disable gimbaling on all of the outer engines here, just because it's a little bit much to have gimbaling on all of them, for sure. We're a little bit over gimbaled at that point. So only the center engine will fire until these are gone, and then all of the engines will fire. And our thrust to weight will be higher than 1.1, so that'll be good. And we should be able to get some reasonable thrust to weights going like this. Hopefully. Oh, I actually want to double check the other staging before we launch here. I definitely should do that. Well, game, you gonna load? There we go. Fantastic. Oh, this bug. Yeah, this one's actually pretty annoying. I think it's only a visual bug, and I think it's related to ReStock. Hopefully there's an update to ReStock soon. But we'll just do that. Fantastic. And we'll throttle up, SAS on. And let's see, I wanted to double check our staging here. So that engine plate and this decoupler, yeah, this all happens simultaneously. Okay, sounds good. We're ready to lift off, so let's go ahead and do so. It's going to be a little bit of a slow liftoff. Our thrust to weight isn't the highest, but that will rapidly rise. And that is wonderful. And we're just going to see how efficiently we can get out of this atmosphere. It'll be fine. I mean, we're not going to have an issue with this in the slightest. But let's just make our way on up. And we've passed 100 meters per second. I don't want to turn over too aggressively here. I'm just going to kind of hang out over here-ish for now. Something along the lines of here. Maybe I'll go a little further. But I want to not be too tipped over when our SRBs detach. Just because I want to ensure a clean separation. Okay, about 20 more seconds on that burn. Our thrust to weight is definitely improving pretty dramatically. And of course that is fully expected. 8 more seconds. 5. Clean separation. Okay, now we'll head over towards that prograde marker. And are we a little bit under gimbaled right now? Perhaps. But once we get out of the atmosphere, we will not be under gimbaled. So let's just position ourselves right in that prograde marker, like so. Wonderful. Now our thrust to weight is a little bit low here. We're still a little underpowered on this stage. There's no doubt about that. Oh, hello, Moon. We're heading, like, almost straight for you. That's not expected, but okay. I mean, the plan is to slingshot around the moon, but with it being right there, that means that we're going to have to wait in orbit. That's not a big deal. We don't mind that. How's our apoapsis looking? Oh, we've got plenty of apoapsis headroom here. Let's just go ahead and take that up to 100 kilometers, and we are going to head over to the horizon here. Now, all we've got to work with here is our reaction wheel and our fins, which are getting increasingly bad. but that's okay. I'm actually going to throttle up a little bit so that we have some gimbaling here. Okay, and we're just going to go over to the horizon here. There we go. Here we'll be fine. And at the apoapsis, I guess we'll just put in a maneuver node and see what we can get. That's a fair amount of DV for sure, but that's to be expected. Does that get us into orbit? Yeah, technically it does. Okay, sounds good. I'm going to extend these 2 solar panels, as well as our antenna. And we're just slowly making our way over towards that node. We want to burn this at 40.5 seconds. So that's when we're going to burn this. Right about now. We'll use the rest of the gimbaling to get into position for it. And off we go. So this will be just fine, and we'll circularize the orbit as best we can, but I'm not too concerned about it, all things considered. Yeah, it should be just fine. We need about another 1100 meters per second here. It's going to be a bit of a lengthy burn to get into orbit. I got more vertical speed than I was expecting there, which is definitely intriguing. Just adding that one engine added a lot of vertical speed from the simulation. So that's very interesting. I mean, I'm not shocked by it, but it was a lot. It was a lot. So let's just make our way up through here, and I guess we can extend the rest of these. They're overkill, of course. The only reason we have 3 Gigantors on this is because this is intended to be a station that's for power collection, right? Not like it helps us in this game, but that's what it's intended to be. 200 more meters per second here. 100. And we're in orbit. Okay, I'm going to stop this tumble. And where is the moon? The moon is here, so we're going to have to wait until we're like, I don't know, maybe around here or so for a lunar injection. Actually, probably a little later than that. Maybe around here. Let's see here. Yeah, that's decent. How are we looking? That's not an escape trajectory. We could maybe get one fairly cheaply. Oh yeah, that's actually perfect. That is wonderful. Now, I'm actually going to fling us out as tight as I'm comfortable with, which is about this. I want to get as much gravity assist as possible here. We're going to go ahead and head over to the maneuver node. And we've still got 580 meters per second in this ascent stage, so that's wonderful. That is going to mean that we are going to be using less fuel up here, which, of course, we need a decent chunk of fuel in this in order to get ourselves the contract completed. And at this point, let's go ahead and time warp over to this burn time. Wonderful. And this burn time is going to be 1 minute and 1 second, so we want to burn this at T minus 30 and 1/2 seconds. I'm going to time warp our way over because we need to reorient. There we go, we are reoriented, and we're going to want to burn this in just a second here. Okay, we'll burn it now. And off we go! Of course, we're going to be leaving this stage behind just as soon as it's burned out here in 10 seconds. And off we go. Wonderful. So you can see our thrust to weight here isn't tremendously high. And how's our fuel consumption looking? It's a little up there, but this is going to be kind of our largest burn expenditure. Not really, but this is going to be one of our larger ones. Definitely picking up a shimmy there. I'm going to go on to stability assist instead. That seems to help. Okay, 60 more meters per second here. Okay. Let's check that trajectory. Looks fine. I'm not going to burn anything else there. So let's go ahead and warp to here. Hello, moon. Ooh. We are occluded by Kerbal right now. I actually didn't expect that, but it's fine. And we are going to warp now away from the moon. Goodbye, moon. Nice mooner eclipse going on there. Goodbye, moon. Excellent. And now we need to see... Okay, that's the solar station core there. This might actually be completely fine. Yes, it might. So we're going to check to see what it would look like if we attempted to do a rendezvous over here. We're going to set this as our target. And this is our ascending node here. We're 0.1 degrees off. That's something that we can change, for sure. So we'll move this back to the ascending node. And we will... This is the ascending node. We will burn... This is no longer set as our target. Since this is the ascending node, we will need to burn anti-normal here. Ooh, that was too much. There's not much that needs to be burned here. I think we can get away with not doing any sort of burn like that. Okay, let's see what it would look like if we attempted a rendezvous here. What are we rendezvousing? I've confused myself. I've managed to confuse myself. Oh, we're going back into the Kerbal orbit. If we do that. Yeah, that's not necessarily ideal. So we should probably wait until we're a little ways away from Kerbal. Like, this is our orbit out here. We're being flung out further when we need to drop in. So we should wait until we're, like, out here and then check to see what this would end up looking like. Hello? Are we going to need to wait in orbit? Waiting in orbit is exciting, to be sure. Yeah, that's definitely interesting. It looks like our best opportunity for doing that is somewhere up here, but that's not a viable opportunity. How much delta V would it cost us to get there radially? The answer is a lot. A lot that I'm not really willing to pay. So instead, what if we... Not that. Oh, right. That's going to be a thing, isn't it? Not ideal. Okay, so we're going to do this. I used the numpad, and I forgot that I hotkeyed that. Okay, so now that that's back, we're going to bring this on over to here. And we're going to add an orbit to it. We're going to add an orbit to it. There we go. And with an orbit added, what would it end up looking like if we just attempted to intercept? We need to go a little further here. Quite a lot further, in fact. Okay, so that would be what it would end up looking like. No, I don't... I'm dumb. I did it again. Okay, that's something I need to think of. I need to think about how I'm going to deal with that issue. Right. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to drag this around and see what this ended up looking like in an orbit. The answer appears to be hot garbage. So, hypothetically, what happens if we come out here and we attempt to intercept it here? What does that end up looking like? Okay. Not great. There's no doubt about that. But we could do something like this and enter an elliptical orbit. And that should give us better options for dealing with it, right? And we need to burn this down eventually anyway. So let's go ahead and set up for that. And we're going to warp ahead to this. That's in physics warp. I don't want to warp 251 days in physics warp. That's not going to be a good time. So out we go into the wild black yonder. And we are going to be up there in 180 days, so about 6 months. And then we'll make this change, and then we'll see what we can get. With us in this reasonable elliptical orbit, it should, I think, be okay. So let's see what we've got. 90 more days. And I mean, we're going to definitely need to do some burns to match velocity, right? But the idea here is we do that down here at the periapsis. That would be ideal. And T-minus, let's see here, 17 means 8.5 seconds. Okay, we're going to warp towards T-minus 8.5 seconds. We're going to burn this now. Okay. And let's bring this periapsis on down. Magnificent. That'll do. And now, at this periapsis, what if we attempted to do something along the lines of this? Okay, so that's not going to work as far as timing goes. Do we want to add in years to this? Like, if I can get in there. Like so. I mean, I feel like that's too much time. So I'm going to back off of that. And we're going to see if we can't find something a little bit friendlier. Assuming I can interact with this button. Thank you. Okay. So now that we've interacted with that button, let's go around here and see what we end up finding. I mean, obviously, this isn't the burn we're going to want to always do, right? So what if instead we do the burn around here? And it's something like this. Now, this is where we would be, and this is where our target would be, right? So this isn't really what I'm looking for at all. I need somewhere that will substantially move this, and I'm just going to bring this back like that. In fact, I'm going to put that back at 0. There we go. I even remembered not to use the hotkey. Isn't that amazing? Radial. How much would that end up costing? If we did some sort of a radial retrograde maneuver here, it would be pretty costly, indeed. Pretty costly. I honestly feel like we might be better off just waiting a ludicrously long time. Like this. So that gets us something like this. Then, we can tweak this. Like, yeah, that's in 4 years. But we can do other things in the meantime. We can burn a little bit prograde there. That does disappear. Okay. What if we did radial instead? Can we not be doing this? Thank you. What if we burned radial here? So, oh, our separation here is quite a lot. Radial is quite expensive to make this happen. In fact, radial is exceptionally expensive to make this happen. So that's non-viable. Technically, we have that much fuel, but we need that much fuel. What if we burned the radial up here, though? Or even over here? It's a little bit better. That's still very expensive, right? That is starting to look okay. Except for the fact that we are kind of in the wrong planes. So, here's the next idea. We delay this by the same 4 years to get this about the same, like this. Right? Then, we simply burn retrograde to do something like this. That gives us this separation, and more importantly, our relative velocities are going to be much, much better. That's increasing the separation. That's jumping over here. This is now an intersect 2. Okay. This is beginning to look possible. If I can actually grab this node. Look at that. That's only 435 meters per second. Okay, so the closest I saw there was about 23. Let's try tweaking it radially. Other direction. That's not much closer. But this is close enough to work with. Yeah, that's going to be out in 5 years. So that's going to be a bit of a long-term project. But, I mean, that's fine. This is going to be basically the conclusion of our solar station. We can work on something else in the meantime. So let's head on back to the Space Center. I'm not sure what we want to work on next after the solar station. Maybe the Jool station? Let's see. What else do we need? Just checking the list here while we're loading. Okay, yeah, we would need a mining station over Jool. Now, how would that work in KSP mechanics? Honestly, I have no idea. I have no idea how that would work in KSP mechanics. Like, you can't land on Jool, right? There isn't really anything in KSP to allow us to, like, scoop gas out of the atmosphere. Let's take a look at Jool here. So this is the Jool system here. It's a bit of a mess. It's got all this going on. Nice inclination on Bop there. Glorious. And a bit of an inclination on Pole too, but Lathe, Vol, and Tylo are all in the orbital plane. But, how are we supposed to mine on this? That's the question. Maybe leave me a comment if you have any ideas on what a mining station over Jool even means. Because I kind of don't know. Let's see. Other things that we would need would be a mining station over Neptune's moon Triton, which of course has no stock KSP analog. Now, Jool is the only real gas giant in the Kerbal system, and so maybe that would be a mining station over one of these moons. And then maybe the mining station over Jool would just be like a refueling station that would be stocked by a mining station over... I'm not sure which of these has lower gravity, but like Bop or Pole. Probably Pole, ideally, because of the inclination. Maybe. Let me know what you think about that. It is, however, time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we'll see what we can get done with regard to those construction goals. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.